Buddhism is often seen as the religion of meditation. But interestingly, if you ask a Buddhist friend whether they meditate regularly, they might say something like, "Not really. I don't meditate that often." This leads us to wonder, do all Buddhists meditate? And is meditation necessary to be a Buddhist? To answer that, we first need to understand what it truly means to be a Buddhist. A Buddhist is someone who chooses to follow the path shown by the Buddha. Simply being born into a Buddhist family or calling oneself a Buddhist isn't enough. What really matters is whether one is trying to live according to the Buddha's teachings. So, should one meditate in order to become a Buddhist? Well, that depends on what you mean by meditate. If meditation to you means sitting cross-legged in silence, with your eyes closed and focusing inward, that's only one form of meditation. In Buddhism, meditation can be practiced in all four postures: sitting, walking, standing, and even lying down. You don't always have to close your eyes or be in a perfectly quiet place. Meditation is more about awareness and presence than posture. Also, it's important to know that meditation is just one part of the Buddhist path. To walk the path fully, there are 3 core practices in Buddhism. Anyone who applies these 3 in their life can truly be considered a follower of the Buddha. So, what are these 3 essential practices? The first and foundational step is Sīla, which means living ethically. It's the moral ground on which spiritual growth stands. As Buddhists, we are encouraged to follow 5 basic precepts, which are: to abstain from killing any living being, to abstain from stealing, to abstain from sexual misconduct, to abstain from false speech, to abstain from consuming intoxicating substances. These 5 precepts guide our behavior so we don't cause harm to ourselves or others. They are not rigid commandments, but practices we follow out of mindfulness and compassion. A monk once asked the Buddha, "What is the purpose of living a virtuous life?" The Buddha replied, "To be free from regret." If we reflect on this, it becomes clear. When we lie, harm others, steal, or live unethically, we often carry regret in our hearts. That regret becomes a burden, disturbing our peace of mind. Regret is one of the greatest inner obstacles to happiness and spiritual clarity. The Buddha taught that a virtuous life is one in which your own conscience does not accuse you. When your heart is at ease with your actions, the mind becomes calm and open. So, to be virtuous is not just to follow rules. It's to live in harmony with your own inner truth. The second practice is Samādhi, which can be translated as concentration, calmness, or mental stillness. This is where meditation often comes into focus. However, Samādhi is not limited to traditional meditation. It also includes mindfulness in daily activities, being present while walking, eating, working, or even while speaking. Meditation is a helpful method to calm the mind. Sitting quietly, closing your eyes, and focusing on your breath or an object of meditation helps settle the mind's restlessness. Over time, this leads to inner peace and clarity. But Samādhi also grows through everyday goodness, by doing wholesome actions, speaking kindly, helping others, and letting go of distractions. Living a moral life, Sīla, naturally supports the development of Samādhi. When we live without regrets, our minds are lighter and more at ease, allowing calmness to arise more easily. So Samādhi isn't just about sitting meditation, it's a state of mind cultivated through mindful and ethical living. The third and final practice is Paññā, or wisdom. In Buddhism, wisdom means understanding the true nature of life, impermanence, suffering, and the absence of a permanent self. But how do we develop this wisdom? The Buddha outlined a three-step process. Listening to the Dhamma. First, we need to hear the teachings of the Buddha. This might be through reading scriptures, listening to talks, or learning from a teacher. Wise reflection. Next, we reflect deeply on what we've heard. We don't just accept teachings blindly, but question them, test them, and consider how they apply to our own experience. Meditative insight. Finally, we observe our own minds and lives with mindfulness. Through meditation and direct observation, we begin to see for ourselves the impermanence of thoughts, emotions, and all things. In this way, wisdom isn't something we're simply told, it's something we realize for ourselves. To summarize, being a Buddhist means living by three essential practices. Living ethically, Sīla. Cultivating a calm and focused mind, Samādhi. Developing deep insight and wisdom, Paññā. Meditation plays an important role in this path, especially in the development of Samādhi and Paññā. But it is not the only requirement to be a Buddhist. You may not meditate every day, but if you're committed to ethical living, cultivating inner calm, and seeking wisdom, you're already walking the Buddhist path. In fact, many people who live this way, regardless of labels, can be seen as true followers of the Buddha. So, whether or not you call yourself a Buddhist, if you live by these three principles, you are embodying the heart of the Dhamma. Thank you for spending your time reflecting on this. May your journey be filled with peace, clarity, and compassion. Namo Buddhaya.